Here's a tip on something that I've noticed with scammers of the past is they'll make it seem like they have a connection with you. And, as you get to talk with them, they sort of push this whole financial mindset. They will try to get you into investing or anything like that. And they will say that, the door of the opportunity will close and you won't be able to do it. Now, I've noticed personally in my life that if somebody is pushing you to do something, there's a red flag there. So, what I always had said in the past, and, if they are scammers, they're not going to like this. But I'm like, okay, I'll do that with you, but let's meet up first. Let's get to know each other and then we can meet. They don't like that because if they're scammers, they're not going to want to meet you because, if they're using some kind of scammer software to where they can take somebody's picture and put it over their face, and they have the capability now of changing the voice to where they can deceive you in video calls, they're going to be found out because they're going to be like, okay, they're going to find out who I am then. And then they're going to, say, I'm not going to do that. Or they'll stop talking with you. And so that's a clue that that the connection wasn't really legitimate. So, you know, like I had said in many videos of the past, you got to reverse image search their pictures to see who they really are. And you can use Google or Yandex. You download their picture and then you upload it in either of them. Where I would say do both, because if it doesn't show in Google, perhaps they might have manipulated the photo in some way to where you can't search it, but check it in Yandex too, because then you can see, it seems like it has a lot more broader collections because it's around the world. And so you also got to, check what they are saying. Now, I don't know, maybe some of the people I talked to were legitimate in the past. Maybe they were really a part of investing. But it doesn't make me comfortable when the conversation turns to financial. Setting that up as, a first priority over a legitimate connection between two people. I believe love should be first and foremost. That should be the foundation of every relationship. Then everything built upon that. It's like what it says in scripture. Anyone who builds upon the foundation of Christ, fire will test it to see whether you know that is the source of what you're relying on. And so Jesus said that the fire will test it, and man will suffer loss if it's burned up. So likewise, in a relationship, love should be first, and that should be the priority. So that is my thinking when I'm talking to different people. And I don't know what it is like in different cultures. Maybe that thinking is different, but this is what I firmly believe, because if you have somebody that's putting financial as a priority, what's going to happen down the road when wealth is lost? Because it says in scripture that, whoever trusts in riches will fail. And then, it said something like the wealth will fly away like an eagle. So that is what I believe is first and foremost in a relationship, is it should be having a foundation of love. So whenever you're talking with somebody online, whether Facebook or Instagram, and you happen to see these supposed, Facebook profiles, they'll make it sound like you really have a connection with them. And then eventually they'll slyly ask you about if you're investing or if you have stocks or anything like that. And then they'll make it sound like they really think so much of you that they really care about you. But then when you say, hey, I want to meet you first, or hey, what is the deal with these pictures? Because I reversed image searched them and they're turning out to be somebody else, like this, famous person. And then once you find out about that they've stolen these pictures, they're going to stop talking with you. So here are some, updated tips for you if you ever come across these kind of profiles.